They say the first thing you lose is sleep. For me, it was the small mercy of certainty, the neat little world where shadows belonged strictly to lamps and wind. I used to think the vacant lot beside my apartment was nothing more than a memory of better summers. Rusted rides swallowed by grass, a faded banner tangled in a fence. At night, it was a black tooth in the city's gum, and I'd watch it from my kitchen window, coffee cooling, telling myself stories to keep the dark polite. The night it began, the air smelled wrong. Not just cold, but metallic, like a drawer full of old coins someone had left out in rain. I heard it first as a soft, patient scraping, like a chair being dragged across a wooden floor somewhere far away. Then, unmistakable, a sound that unstitched the ordinary, a thin, high giggle that didn't belong in the alleyways or the hum of traffic, the kind of noise children make when they hide from a parent and expect to be found. It threaded through the apartment and settled under my ribs. My hands went numb before my legs did. I told myself to look, because curiosity is a cheaper kind of courage. I pulled the curtain aside, and there it was, not fully formed at the lip of the lot, but suggested by a small impossible thing. A round balloon bobbing at the height of a child's shoulder, tethered to nothing I could see. Its surface caught the streetlight and glowed like a warning. Around it, the ground was damp, and the grass glistened under some invisible breath. There were footprints there too, small, narrow prints as if someone had walked barefoot across the soil and left polished wetness in their wake. That night, the rhythms of my apartment altered. The refrigerator hummed with a rumor. Pipes sighed like old men. The city's distant siren sounded like a throat clearing. Every noise took on intent, as if someone had placed a listener inside the walls and tuned it to me. I slept in fits between the need to check the window and the dread of what I might find. I found the first real proof at dawn, under the sloped shadow of the fence, a patch of torn fabric, coarse and pale, with dark smears drying in the weave. It had the smell of iron and something older, a tannic animal tang that made my mouth reflexively water. The balloon was gone. The ground around the patch had been scraped clean, a shallow incision in the earth, as if the lot itself exhaled and revealed an old wound. I held the scrap between shaking fingers and felt the first honest fear. This was no prank left by teenagers. It knew how to leave a signature, and unlike signatures on birthday cards, this one read like a threat. The next few nights blurred into one another. Each hour, a smear of unease stretched across the dark. I stopped turning on the kitchen light, afraid it would signal that I was awake, that I was watching back. I tried to convince myself it was exhaustion, stress, some urban hallucination conjured by loneliness. But denial, I learned, is only a softer word for delay. On the fourth night, the balloon returned. I didn't see it arrive. It was simply there, pressed against the glass of my window from the outside, trembling with the faint rhythm of my own breathing. The knot at its base was tied with something that wasn't string. It looked fibrous, wet, and uneven, as if someone had twisted veins together until they held. I didn't open the window. I didn't move. I just watched the reflection of that balloon hover beside my face until dawn. By morning, it was gone again. But the trail it left behind wasn't. There were footprints leading away from my window, crossing the lot in a staggering, almost playful pattern, until they reached the remnants of the old carousel. I followed them, each step crunching over gravel that smelled faintly of rust and sweet rot. The closer I got, the stronger the odor became, copper and something like spoiled sugar. The carousel was tilted on its side, half buried. Its wooden horses had rotted into toothless shapes, mouths gaping wide as if frozen mid-scream. And beneath one of them, I found what I thought was a pile of old clothes. It wasn't. It was a body, or what was left of one. The chest cavity was open, hollowed out like something had fed there. The heart was missing. My throat locked shut. The taste of metal returned to my tongue. I wanted to run, but something, a whisper, or maybe a memory, told me I was being watched. Then I saw him. Between the shadows of the carousel poles, something crouched. Not moving, not breathing, just waiting. I could make out the faint shimmer of a collar, the pale outline of painted skin stretched too tight over a face that smiled without needing joy. His eyes, they didn't look at me, they entered me, like light through water. The same giggle from that first night broke the silence, but now it sounded wet, heavier, as if the throat making it was full. I fell backward, scraping my hands on the gravel. When I blinked, he was gone. That night I couldn't sleep. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw him leaning over me, lips slick with something dark, whispering through teeth that didn't fit his mouth. My reflection in the kitchen window no longer looked like mine. There was something behind it, grinning wider than I ever could. And then came the smell, that same sweet, metallic scent, seeping through the vents, as if the clown had learned the shape of my home. I started sleeping with the lights on, though light didn't help. Shadows still moved in the corners, bending the edges of the room like soft wax. The smell of metal clung to my clothes, my pillow, even my skin. Every night, the same sound returned, the drag of something heavy across the floorboards above me, though I lived on the top floor. I stopped calling for help after the police visit. They found nothing but a red balloon deflated near my door, and they looked at me the way people look at someone who's already lost too much sleep to be believed. The next night, I decided to record everything. I set my phone on the windowsill, facing the empty lot. I sat in the dark, forcing myself to listen. Hours passed. Just when I thought I'd imagined it all, the balloon floated into frame, slow, deliberate, pulsing softly with each gust of wind. Then a shape unfolded from the dark behind it, taller than I remembered, its face bone pale and cracked like dried clay. I couldn't move. The thing tilted its head, as if listening to my heartbeat. Then it lifted something in its hands. At first, I thought it was a mask, but it wasn't. It was a heart, still dripping. The clown pressed it to his mouth, eyes never leaving mine through the glass, and bit down. The sound was wet, obscene, and yet deliberate, as if it wanted me to hear, to learn the texture of its hunger. The screen on my phone flickered. The figure leaned closer to the window, closer to me. Its smile widened until the skin at the corners of its mouth tore. When it spoke, it didn't use words. It used breath, long, rhythmic, mimicking mine. For a moment, it felt like it was inhaling through my lungs. My chest tightened until I gasped and dropped the phone. When I picked it back up, the screen was black, the reflection showing only my face. But the smile wasn't mine anymore. I don't remember sleeping. I only remember waking to find dirt on my hands and the smell of rust in my sheets. The police came again the next morning. They'd found the old carousel finally demolished, but under it, another body. This one with a single piece of torn fabric lodged in its chest, pale, coarse, and stained dark. It was the same patch I'd found weeks before. Now when I breathe, I swear I can hear someone else exhale after me. And sometimes, just before sleep, I catch a reflection in the dark glass, a painted grin hovering behind my own. The clown doesn't need to find you, he only needs you to notice him once.
Subscribe to Horror Story Bar.